Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Leftover Makeover. We're a little bit late today with the upload, but I hope you watch the video anyways, because we have something special for you this week, and that is Piroshki. There's a little anecdote I want to tell you about this dish. That's a Russian dish, and as some of you might know, I'm fluent in Russian, and that is mostly because of this little filled dumpling from Russia, which my Russian teacher in 3rd grade used to make with us all the time. So when the time came to decide whether I wanted to learn French or Russian, I simply made this decision informed by the fact that the Russian teacher, Frau Meyer, shout out to her by the way, made those dumplings or piroshki with us, and the French teacher didn't do it. So yeah, that's why I know Russian today. Thanks Frau Meyer, thanks Piroshki. And we're doing 3 different variants today. The basic one with just potatoes and onions, and some more creative ones which use up a little bit of leftovers we had in our fridge, of course. So, have fun with the video.
And we're starting with our dough. As you can see, I've got already mine prepared here. It has already risen for some time and is now ready to be worked with. But if you want to learn how to make a dough like this, check out this video in the top right corner. Bam! So as you can see, nice and stringy, nice gluten development there, almost looking like kind of a cobweb. We're going to knead and fold in the method also described in the video I linked before. And yeah, just kneading and working it through a couple of times and then shape it into a round ball. Then slice it up and divide it into equal parts for easier portioning later on, and set aside for now. We can continue with preparing our fillings, starting with our pasta and our leftover sauce, and mixing it up with some cheese of your choice. We're using some middle-aged Gouda here. Nothing special about it. Cheese and tomato sauce always goes together well, so why not fill a dumpling with it, right? Then we also had this spicy sauce, mixture, pickle, whatever we had lying around from a take-home dish we had the day or the week before. And just dumping that in there as well. Cleaning the fridge up while we add it, right? And then just mix it up until homogeneous and set aside for later. And some other cheese we had left over was this brie and this piece of feta cheese we used in a salad. And this is going to go very well with our beetroots, I think. So we're going to roughly chop them up. No need to be precise here. As you can see, some larger parts and some smaller parts are to be desired. We're just mixing it up with our cooked beetroots we have here. Cooked and sliced, that is. And I later decided to also add some finely sliced onion to this filling, as well as some chopped up apple pieces for a little bit of freshness, lighting and lifting up the earthiness of the beetroot. With filling number 3, we're turning to a much overlooked vegetable, that is celery root and parsnip. That's right, you might never have heard of them before, but we used them in an oven dish another day. And now we have some left over, some scraps, and we just finely chop them up. And this is some sauce we had also left over. This ingredient is of course more than optional. You can be creative here with what you like to add to your filling. Just to bolster it up a bit and to give it a little bit of starchiness, I'm also adding a couple of potatoes. And onto the stove we go. To our pan I added some oil and our onions and salting them with a couple of pinches of salt. And then we're going to caramelize them for a couple of minutes until they are translucent and are just turning a little bit golden brown, as you can see here. And a very important chef's tip here on the sideline. You see all that bits stuck to the bottom of the pan. This is delicious fond and you do not want to waste it. So if you ever find this stuff on the bottom of your pan and you're thinking about, oh, I have to soak the pan for ages to get rid of the stuff. No, in this video we will show you how to dissolve it into your delicious sauce. But first we go in with our potatoes and a pinch of vegetable broth. I'm using, because I do not have chicken stock or anything like that, so I'm using vegetable broth and a swig of water. And now just watch the fond on the bottom of the pan. See, as I'm scraping and water is coming to a boil, all this caramelized goodness on the bottom of the pan dissolves into the liquid and it's giving us a rich and flavorful boost to our filling. And now you want to cover your filling with the lid and let them cook until your potatoes are relatively soft and start to fall apart. As you can see here, I'm mashing the potatoes up a little bit so we have a nice consistency, and breaking them up with the spatula until they're tender. And to my knowledge, this is the most traditional filling for Piroshki. And now we're going to the more untraditional variant. This is with our parsnip, and we're just repeating what we just did, but instead of water and broth, deglazing our pan with some white wine, as you can see here. Same process, scraping off the bottom with the liquid and dissolving all this caramelized goodness from the bottom of the pan. You won't regret it. Other than that, add water as necessary and of course season your fillings with salt and pepper as you see fit. And once they reach the consistency, as you can see here, same as the potatoes and onions before, breaking apart, then you're done with your filling. And now comes the fun part, stuffing your dumplings or your piroshki. Just grab a handful of the dough and form it into a ball and then stretch it out with your hands or a rolling pin. Then add about a spoonful of the filling of your choice. Then just nothing complicated here, just flap the ends together like this and coax them so nothing opens up by itself, and you can flatten it out or shape it while they're closed, and this also makes sure that you have no leaks in your dumpling. Now we're trying the other filling. Same process, just grabbing some of our beetroot here, some of onion, putting it on there, as you can see, draping it very delicately, and adding some of our, as I said before, some of our chopped apples as well, and then just folding it onto itself. In this case, I was feeling like, okay, on the sides I do not have enough dough, so I use the other ends. So they might not turn out perfectly in shape and uniform, but that's boring. So we will have little individual piroshki here. And just make sure, that's very important, that your ends are sealed tight and there's no leakage, because this might cause explosions later in the oil. One last time, demonstrating with our most traditional filling, the potatoes and onions. Just put 1 tablespoon of filling on there and then coax, flap. As you can see, there's no precise technique or anything here, just making sure they're nice and sealed. And you might think, okay, they're going to turn out very ugly, but they're not, I promise. You'll see in the end. Into our 180 degrees oil they go. You do not have to deep fry them, you can also shallow fry and use a little bit less oil than I'm using here. But they should be coated to about half of their size. Just carefully lowering them in there and letting them sit until they're like this, lightly golden and brown in some spots. And then just turning them over. As you can see, they puff up a little bit and look just gorgeous, don't they? And once you have achieved this magnificent beauty, put them onto a paper towel to drain some of the excess oil and immediately salt them with a little bit of salt on top to ensure a crispy exterior. And this is the end result. As you can see, we were enjoying them in a very much classical way with some vodka and some pickled cucumbers. But you can of course enjoy them as they are or with a little bit of sour cream. Alright, and that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode and give this a try soon. And as always, please guys, like, comment, share, subscribe, participate in our community, because I'm nothing without you. I could as well work in a vacuum, and that doesn't sound very fun, does it? So, see you next week. Bye!